President Donald Trump promises to create the strategic reserves in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin enthusiasts are already picturing making riches out of Donald Trump's plans. But if President Trump is successful, he can tear the supply of Bitcoins to shreds and destroy the Bitcoin itself. Hi, my name is Vitaly. I am an economist. I am a boring mainstream economist. And in this video, we are going to look at Bitcoins and discuss why Trump's plan of boosting the Bitcoin can backfire. The United States has already the strategic reserves of oil, and my country, Canada, has the strategic reserves in maple syrup. Oil, maple syrup, priorities. Reality check. So far, President Trump hasn't done anything on Bitcoin. He signed 100 executive orders and not a single one on Bitcoin. But instead, he created the working group, a committee.
Crypto EO, we're going to be forming an internal working group to make America the world capital in crypto.
Isn't it what everybody loves? A committee. A few bureaucrats getting paid for doing nothing. This committee is supposed to report to the president in July. So let's assume that starting in July, the United States will start buying Bitcoins. In this video, I explain why Trump's strategic reserves in Bitcoins will destroy the US dollar, raise the public debt and bring high inflation back. But in this video, let's put the US economy aside and talk about the Bitcoin itself. This is what most people don't realize about Bitcoins. Only a small part of the Bitcoin supply is actually traded. Only a small part, a tiny, teeny fraction of Bitcoins is on the market, affecting the price of the Bitcoin. I am an economist, and economics is about supply and demand. And people love talking about the demand. Right now, the demand for Bitcoins goes up and up and up thanks to Donald Trump. But what about the other side of the market, the dark side, the supply? The supply of Bitcoins is fixed at 21 million. But 60% of that supply is held as a long-term investment when people, businesses and governments bought Bitcoins, keep them and never sell. 20% of the supply is lost. These people bought Bitcoins and never touched them. Most likely, they just forgot their passwords, because with Bitcoins, if you lose your password, if you forget it, that's it, your Bitcoin is lost, when nobody can access your Bitcoins. So the 20% of the supply is lost forever. So only 20% of the supply, only 3.5 million coins are actually on the market, actually bought and sold on exchanges. As I said, President Trump gave us no specifics on Bitcoins. So we have to rely on the only specific proposal from this senator. And she proposes that the US buys 200,000 coins every year for 5 years. She proposes that the US accumulates 1 million coins and keeps them for at least 20 years. You probably want to say, that's a crazy plan, but again, that's a specific proposal, when Donald Trump gave us no specifics. He gave us slogans and empty promises that would make Barack Obama blush. So we have to rely on the only proposal. And this proposal is the US buys 1 million Bitcoins and keeps them for 20 years. 1 million Bitcoins. It's a 5% of the total supply, but it's almost 30% of the actual supply of Bitcoins. Imagine the US grabbing 30% of the supply and keeping them for 20 years. And imagine other countries, especially Japan and China, grabbing their shares of the supply and taking them off the market. Imagine the supply of Bitcoins getting smaller and smaller there is going to be no bitcoins left. If governments, corporations and people buy bitcoins and keep them for the long run, the supply of bitcoins will be shrinking, the price of a bitcoin will be shooting higher and higher, so that if you own bitcoins, you'll be really happy. But one of the main benefits of stocks, bonds and currencies is liquidity. The fact that we have many enough stocks, bonds or currencies. The fact that if you want to buy or sell your asset, you can do it within minutes. That if you want to buy, there is going to be a seller. If you want to sell, there is going to be a buyer. But if Trump and his friends keep buying bitcoins and keeping the supply of bitcoins to themselves, bitcoins will lose liquidity. Bitcoins might become like paintings by Leonardo da Vinci. Yes, rare. Yes, precious. But as an investment, useless. If bitcoins become rare, if the supply of bitcoins shrinks, investors will eventually lose interest. They won't even bother with bitcoins. They will switch from bitcoins to some other cryptocurrency, less expensive, more available, more convenient for payments. Maybe investors will dump bitcoins and switch to the newest cryptocurrency, Trump and Melania. Maybe this is exactly Donald Trump's plan. If you hold bitcoins as a long-term investment, keep an eye on Donald Trump, keep an eye on the supply of bitcoins, because your long-term investment can become really long-term, like a beautiful piece of art, precious but useless. What do you think? Will the Bitcoin survive Donald Trump's bold plans? Put your comments below. I'm so happy to see your feedback. And as you watch this video, the US stock market comes crashing down. The AI bubble has finally burst. That will be the topic of the next video, so stay tuned and I'll talk to you next time.